Hell, a word that conjures images of fire, brimstone, and eternal torment, a place of divine punishment lurking beyond the veil of death. But where did this idea come from? If we trace the concept through history, we find that what we call hell today is a mosaic of shifting ideas, shaped by human anxieties, imperial oppression, and the relentless pursuit of justice. In the ancient world of Israel and Judah, there was no hell in the way modern minds understand it. Instead, there was Sheol, the shadowy abode of all the dead, righteous and wicked alike. It was not a place of flames or punishment, but a dull, lifeless existence where souls lingered in obscurity. The Hebrew Bible gives no indication that Sheol held any differentiation of fate based on morality. Death was simply the great equalizer, and yet, no one looked forward to Sheol. It was a realm of darkness, a fate devoid of joy, where even the most righteous suffered the same fate as the wicked. So how did this bleak but impartial underworld transform into a fiery pit of eternal suffering? The answer lies in oppression. As the Israelites endured conquest after conquest, first by the Assyrians, then the Babylonians, the Persians, and eventually the Greeks and Romans, questions of justice grew more urgent. Why did the wicked prosper? Why did the righteous suffer? Where was God's justice when tyrants ruled unchecked? From these cries of suffering arose new theological concepts. If divine justice was not realized in this life, then perhaps it would be administered after death. The evolution of this idea is captured in ancient Jewish literature, particularly in texts outside the biblical canon like 1 Enoch. These writings introduce the notion of divine punishment after death, not just for fallen angels, but for wicked humans as well. The dead were no longer simply gathered into Sheol. They were sorted. Some would await judgment in torment, while others would find peace. It was here that the seeds of post-mortem divine justice took root, offering both retribution for the wicked and hope for the righteous who had suffered unjustly in life. By the time of the New Testament, this developing idea of the afterlife splintered into multiple interpretations. The Greek world brought new terms into the conversation. Hades, borrowed from Greek mythology, became synonymous with the realm of the dead. Tartarus, mentioned only once in the New Testament, was a place of punishment for fallen angels. And then there was Gehenna, a name taken from the Valley of Hinnom, a site historically associated with child sacrifice and wickedness. Over time, this valley became a symbol of divine judgment, and eventually, an eschatological warning of the fate awaiting the damned. In the New Testament, we find at least 3 competing views of the afterlife's consequences. 1. Annihilationism. The wicked simply cease to exist after death. 2. Temporary punishment. Suffering serves as a purification process before either salvation or destruction. 3. Eternal conscious torment. The damned suffer unending punishment. These ideas were never harmonized in the early Christian era. The Bible itself does not present a single definitive doctrine of hell. It was only in later centuries, especially in the medieval period, that theologians, looking back at these varied ideas, attempted to unify them into one cohesive doctrine of eternal damnation. This process was not merely theological but political. The most horrifying vision of hell, eternal conscious torment, proved to be a powerful motivator. It shaped societies, controlled behavior, and structured religious authority. It was, in many ways, a tool. Dante Alighieri's Inferno, part of his Divine Comedy, cemented the popular imagery of hell as a realm of endless suffering, complete with demons, torments, and layers of eternal despair. Yet, it was not scripture that gave us this vision. It was literature, art, and the politics of the church that constructed the version of hell that dominates modern Christianity. And so, when people today use hell as a threat, as a warning, or as a means to enforce moral behavior, they are not drawing from the Bible itself, but from centuries of theological evolution, cultural adaptation, and power dynamics. The modern concept of hell is not a divine decree. It is a human invention, one that has shaped and been shaped by history's most pressing moral and existential crises. There is no such thing as hell to the Bible. It is a reflection of humanity's deepest fears, its thirst for justice, and its willingness to wield fear as a tool of control. And perhaps in understanding its origins, we can begin to question not just what we believe, but why we believe it.